Jamming with History, a Sanderside's fanfiction, written and read by I Love Living My Dreams. On your mark. The week went by okay. They hadn't been hounded by paparazzi, which was good, but Roman did hear that their classmates had gotten approached. Virgil put up messages to let everyone know to call his uncles if the press was being a pain. On Wednesday, Roman received his second present, and the portraits turned out great. He saw himself sat on a brilliant white steed and fighting against dark armored knights and terrifying monsters, standing victorious over a fallen foe and just living a fairy tale life in a palace. But his favorites were the ones that looked like he was living out a thrilling romance with Virgil. They even made him look a little disheveled in the ones where they were fighting. He showed his parents a few solo portraits and one where Virgil and him were in combat. They looked less like they were madly in love in those. His parents were quite intrigued. First, Virgil clearly looked good on camera. Second, they wanted to contact this designer and photographer who were obviously talented. When Roman asked Virgil about their contact information before class the next day and told him why, he got very excited. He called Sasha right away. Sash, is Jamie there? Get him. No, seriously, get him and sit down, he insisted. A few moments passed. Good, put me on speaker. Okay, hold on to your tops, because fashion icons Angelica and Lucas Fernandez want to talk to you guys, he gushed. Roman could hear their excitement from his end. I knew you'd like that. I'll send them your number, okay? Okay, talk to you later. Virgil grinned before hanging up and working on the text. When did you get their number? Roman wondered. Since they sent me that sample for their collection, Virgil shrugged, indicating the sleeveless hoodie. It was loose, practical, and comfortable, but light and flattering at the same time. The neckline was a bit lower than most hoodies. Virgil had combined the wine red hoodie with dark blue skinny jeans. Not from his parents' collection, but it looked really good. He tucked the hoodie in on the left side, letting it hang low on his right. Have you decided anything yet? Roman wondered. Virgil hesitated and then nodded. I'm going to do it. I mean, I like the clothes, and Patton helped me read through the contract. It looks good, he stated casually. Roman nodded. Cool, he said. He still wasn't quite sure how he felt about the idea of Virgil modeling, but he did know where his parents planned to do the shoot and when, and he was very excited about that part. He just hoped Virgil was okay to miss training for a week. Competition would start that weekend, and Roman had gotten a ticket to see the first competitive race of the season. Saturday was the big day. Sunday, they'd work on their project. After the race, Roman was invited to go out for dinner with the Sanders family, and after that, Virgil had suggested he could stay over at Roman's place. He thought it would be fun and funny because of their prank. Roman had pointed out that his parents pretty much came to the conclusion that Virgil was not a bad guy on their own. Virgil had shrugged and smirked. Still fun to make them do a double take every once in a while. But you're right, guess the prank kind of resolved itself, he agreed. Still, Roman had agreed to the sleepover, and after he assured his parents that he'd be okay, they had agreed to let Virgil come over. And so Roman found himself that Saturday morning, decked in their school colors, orange and baby blue, sitting next to not just Remy, but his own parents as they waited for the race to start. Remy was bragging about how well Roman was doing in training, which Roman could see filled his parents with pride. It was nice. Then they announced Virgil's next event. He told him that he was allowed to partake in 4 events. He style medley relay. He felt like he should as team captain. The medley 400 meters and the freestyle 1,500 meters. Roman had looked up what all of those meant and how much it was in feet. It looked very exhausting. First came the relays. Virgil would be the last one to swim, so it would be his job to make up for every second the three swimmers before him lost and or maintain the lead they'd managed to accomplish. The second the start sign sounded, Roman found himself getting swept up with the crowd. His parents were not immune either, which was a very different experience. Adrenaline was high and his parents were clapping and shouting encouragements right along with him, and before Roman knew it, he spotted Virgil getting ready to dive in. The second Virgil's feet left the side of the pool, Roman jumped up. Their team was only just in second position right now. Virgil had only this one shot at making a difference. He cleaved through the water like a knife through soft butter. Roman's eyes scanned the competition. Virgil was making up the difference. It was so close, but he was first. Virgil had won. Roman jumped up and down with excitement, chanting Virgil's name. The announcer confirmed their school as the winner, and the crowd went nuts. Roman heard that their school had sold more tickets than usual. Virgil didn't care about that though. It was more people to cheer on his team and more money to support them. He really is quite good, Roman's father mused as he watched Virgil get pulled out of the water by his cheering team. Roman grinned. Yeah, he is. Their team became second in the freestyle relay, and Virgil won his other two events. Though the 1500-meter freestyle was a very close call. The other swimmers did good in the individual events too. They had a good team in general, which Roman knew. They had a lot of trophies, and Virgil already explained to him about the point system. Virgil! Roman called when he spotted him sworn by his team. He rushed forward and embraced him. You guys were amazing! He cheered, ignoring the wolf whistles and the backpats he could feel Virgil receive from his teammates. Thanks, Princey. Glad you could make it, Virgil grinned. You all indeed did wonderful. Congratulations, Roman's mother offered kindly. Gracias, Senora Fernandez, Virgil offered with a polite nod. We have to get going. You boys have fun. We might be home late. We trust that you two don't make a mess out of the house, Roman's father warned, though there was a slight smile behind his otherwise serious expression. Not making any promises, Senor Fernandez, Virgil grinned as he shook the fashion designer's hand. This earned him a chuckle and a pat on their joined hands, before Roman's parents took each other by the arm and left the building. And just in time. Moments later, Virgil, and Roman, because he was still standing right next to him, got engulfed in the greetings of his own family. The other team members had split up to greet their own family members. Good job, champ, Mr. Sanders praised with a pat on Virgil's back. That's my little brother, Thomas grinned as he ruffled the swimmer's still wet hair. Cut it out, guys. It was a team effort, Virgil insisted. Of course. Come on, your uncles are waiting for us at the restaurant. We didn't want to crowd you too much, Mrs. Sanders insisted as she ushered them towards the exit. The restaurant they took Virgil to was a family diner with booths and tables, which was a good thing because Virgil's uncles alone would have taken up a whole booth. There was a table reserved for them, and they gathered around and ordered their food. It was delicious. Virgil's parents reminisced on how much Virgil loved playing in the pool when he was little, and that they should have seen this coming. His uncles shared stories about the times Virgil and Thomas stayed over. Virgil tried to get them to stop, but he didn't seem too concerned with it all. Eventually, the subject of Halloween came up, and Mrs. Lizzie recalled a stitch onesie Virgil once wore as a costume and how he wouldn't take it off without a fight for a week straight. They barely got him to change into something different for school. The bout of laughter that had Roman snorting out his milkshake at that was not helped by Virgil's bout. Oh my gosh! Oh, sorry about that. But your face, he sputtered apologetically as he tried to clean the mess he made with some napkins. Laugh it up, Princey. I'm pretty sure your parents had you dress up in the most adorable outfits. The picture's gotta be legendary, he smirked. The entire table fell silent at that. It took Roman a moment to realize what Virgil had said to get such a reaction, and then he saw the surprise on everyone's faces, ranging from smug to happy to downright giddy. Virgil realized it too. Interesting nickname. You know, Roman, Virgil has used that one quite a lot over the years, always referring to a certain friend of his. Mr. Sanders smiled. Ted, please drop it, Virgil pleaded. He didn't seem very hopeful. Oh, but Virgil, Mr. Janus drawled with mischievous lights twinkling in his eyes. We are merely surprised. It was our understanding that that nickname was rather exclusive. Yeah, tadpole. Thomas had to apologize for weeks when he used it for his videos, Mr. Remus agreed. All color left Virgil's face. So, that would make one wonder, might the two princes be one and the same? Mr. Sanders concluded with a smirk. Virgil let his head fall onto his hands. Yes, he admitted quietly in defeat. Roman was busy staring at his lap the whole time, suddenly feeling like he was making a first impression all over again. Oh my goodness, Virgil, what a small world we live in. What are the odds? Thomas gushed. Virgil let out a long, suffering sigh as he leaned back in his chair. He stared at his part of the table and nudged the knife. Oh, happy dagger, give me death, he mumbled quietly, making Roman smile a little despite the nerves he was feeling. Virgil, don't be embarrassed. I'm sure Roman enjoyed your little messages as well, Patton hooted. Yeah, he probably... Remus was shut up by Logan clasping a hand in front of his mouth. I think it's safe to assume that whatever you were about to say would not have helped the situation, Remus, the smartly dressed man stated. The table, save for Virgil, chuckled. Logan retrieved his hands, revealing a pouting Remus, prompting another collective chuckle to travel across the table. Even Virgil allowed a smile. Then Roman caught sight of Virgil's parents exchanging a look, holding each other's hands. They looked kind of nostalgic. You know, the very sad kind. But also a little happy. Then they looked at Roman with those sad, grateful eyes. Thank you, Miss Lizzie said, rendering the rest of the table quiet. Virgil sat up, suddenly tense. Roman knew there was little he could do to comfort him right now, so he turned to Mr. and Mrs. Sanders. I'm not sure I know what you mean, ma'am. I didn't do anything special, he admitted. You two became friends shortly after. A deep, shaky breath. After the diagnosis. We didn't know how to talk to him about this. We wanted to protect him. But still, we saw our child closing himself off. He was a quiet child, but not at home. At home he was always playful, witty, until he wasn't. But then we'd suddenly hear him laugh again, see the light return to his eyes. He was talking to you. You didn't know it, but thanks to you we saw glimpses of our baby again. Even when treatments took their toll, our Virgil came back whenever he got a message from you, she explained. Woman was speechless and a little flustered. We were always grateful that when we didn't know how to help him, you were there for him. Next to Roman, Virgil leaned forward. Mom, no, darling, Mrs. Lizzie insisted. We made a mistake, and we made your brothers and uncles go along with it. We wanted to be strong for you. Maybe we were in denial. Mrs. Lizzie took a deep breath. Her husband squeezed her hand. Lizzie, sweetie, you meant well. You're wonderful parents. Patton promised. Patton, darling. Not the time, Janice said gently. Mrs. Lizzie offered both men a smile. It was her husband who spoke next. We have wanted to thank you ever since we first heard Virgil talk about you, Rowan. So thank you. Thank you for being someone our son could be himself with, when he had nowhere else to go. It meant more to her family than you can ever know, he stated. Roman blushed. Virgil made it very easy, sir. That was the best he could come up with. Just the truth. He didn't feel like he should get special recognition for chatting with someone anonymous online who he could feel a connection with. It was clear that everyone at the table, those by the name Sanders especially, felt a little tense. That was until. So, what are your favorite roasts you came up with? From what I heard, you two had a bit of a nemesis type of friendship going on, Remus wondered. This broke the spell on the table. Virgil relaxed, mostly, but it was clear to Roman, and probably the others at the table, that when he got back home, he'd have to talk with his family. Still, the stories came easily and the banter was light-hearted, and then it was time to leave. Virgil declined his parents' offer to let them drive them there. Roman bid everyone goodbye, accepted a hug from Mrs. Lizzie, and firm shoulder pat from Mr. Sanders. And then they were off to a sleepover that might be a bit heavier than anticipated. Thanks for listening, guys. I know it's been a while, but the story is completely finished and I finished recordings, so you can expect weekly uploads again. See you later.